I had always believed in her. After a decade of marriage, 2 children, and a lifetime of memories, I thought what we had couldn't be shaken. But that evening, when I came home earlier than usual, something in the air felt wrong. The street was unusually quiet, the glow from the neighbor's porch dimmer than normal, and the silence inside our house felt heavier than it should have. My phone buzzed in my pocket, but I didn't check it. Deep down, I already sensed that whatever was waiting for me wasn't going to come through a screen. I parked a few houses away, not wanting to draw attention, and walked toward the small cafe around the corner, the one she said she was meeting a friend at for coffee. As I got closer, I saw her through the window. She was laughing, that warm, open laugh I hadn't heard in years. But this time, it wasn't for me. Across from her sat a man, his hand brushing hers beneath the table, subtle but impossible to miss. The smile I used to live for suddenly twisted into something that made my chest tighten. That smile once mine was now his. I leaned against the cold brick wall outside, my mind spiraling. Every dinner, every late-night confession, every whispered I love you, all of it started to blur, to feel like fragments of a lie. The man leaned closer, whispered something, and she laughed again, the kind of laughter that should have belonged only to our home. The truth hit me like a punch to the gut. She wasn't just meeting a friend. She was on a date with someone who wasn't me. My wife, my partner, the person I had trusted with everything. I wanted to storm inside, to shout, to demand the truth. But I didn't. Something in me froze, not from fear, but from clarity. I watched them for a few more moments, long enough to know this was an accident. She wasn't guilty. She was comfortable, happy, and she didn't care who might see. When I finally stepped into the cafe, the air felt thick like it was pressing against me. She saw me instantly. Her smile faltered, just for a moment, before she tried to recover. "Oh, hey," she said, her voice trembling with forced casualness. "What are you doing here?" I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The color drained from her face as the silence stretched. Her fingers twisted nervously, and the man glanced between us, unease creeping into his expression. Finally I spoke. "Explain." My voice was low, almost too calm. "Explain why you're here with him." Her mouth opened, then closed, searching for a lie that wouldn't sound hollow. I didn't. This isn't what it looks like," she stammered. But the words meant nothing. I had already seen the truth, the way their hands touched, the way her eyes lit up for him. I just stared at her, at the woman who had shared my life, my home, my children, and my trust, the woman who had walked with me through sickness, celebrations, and everything in between. But now, she wasn't that woman anymore. All the love and patience I had built over the years drained away in that single moment. I stood up slowly, letting the weight of my decision sink in. "I don't need an explanation," I said quietly. "I've seen enough. This marriage is over." Her eyes widened, panic flashing across her face. "You can't be serious," she whispered. "We can fix this." "I know," I said, my voice steady now. "I know we could talk, make promises, pretend. But I won't. I trusted you completely, and you chose someone else. I can't unsee what I saw, and I won't keep pretending we can go back." The man opened his mouth as if to say something, but I silenced him with a look. He wasn't the point. This was between her and me, between betrayal and truth. Without another word, I turned and walked out. The night air hit my face, cold and sharp, but it felt freeing, lighter than I'd felt in years. For the first time, I wasn't carrying her lies. I wasn't bound by promises that no longer meant anything. I walked to my car without looking back, my heart aching but my mind clear. When I got home, I packed only what mattered, clothes, documents, a few photos that still held meaning. I didn't take her apologies or her tears or her explanations. They were worth nothing now. Before leaving for good, I looked at the family photos lining the hallway. Once, they had told our story. Now, they looked like relics from someone else's life, a life that ended long before I realized it. I left them hanging there. I didn't need reminders of what I'd lost. As I drove away, the ache in my chest began to shift, slowly replaced by a quiet strength. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I didn't beg. I simply ended it with dignity. Somewhere behind me, in that little cafe, she was probably realizing too late what had just slipped through her fingers. Not just a husband, but a man who had once given her everything. That night, I caught her cheating, and in that same moment, I caught something else too. My freedom,